Hello and welcome to this Rise of the Ronin video. A lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about the future when it comes to possible DLC, sequels, and much more today. So lock in. Should be an interesting conversation. Before we get into it, feel free to drop some comments on what you would like to see when it comes to this game and the future. We have tons and tons to talk about. So first and foremost, you guys know I've been covering this game a ton. I got the combat guides. We have the secrets, tips, and tricks information, everything you need. This game has been a blast. So I absolutely love it. And it's pretty much my favorite game of the year so far. And there's been some great ones already. That being said, there's some conversation to have about the future. The community's been asking me, and I wanted to break down what we know and possibly what could be. I'm going to start off with Team Ninja. So, Team Ninja is a studio who has made amazing theories. I mean, they have Dead or Alive, one of their most popular. They have Ninja Gaiden, Neo, Wulong, and then now Rise of the Ronin. The top director has said in an interview that next year they have another game coming. And this is pretty interesting for a studio to put out a game every year. It is not easy. Wulong was a fun time. This game to me is even better, big time. And the possibility of what the next game is, we don't know. It has not been confirmed or denied what exactly they're going to be bringing. And I would have thought that they'd have advertisements on what the future holds, but so far there's nothing. And I will leave something in the comments if I find anything. So if you're watching this later, go check that out and make sure you find out. But with all that being said, the next game is not going to be a sequel right away. I would assume they're working on other things. They have big titles already that people want more of, whether it's another Neo game, whether it's Ninja Gaiden, Dead or Alive, could be cool. But let's just stick to what we know, and that's factual. The actual company has not confirmed any DLC or any plans for DLC. But what we do know is that PlayStation is the publishers for this game. And depending on the success, they might ask them to make something. And this game, is early on in the year, and I'm sure they can put something together. And we're going to get into the kind of things that they can do that I feel would be best for all of us, of course. Now, the first thing that I want to try to talk about and help you guys understand is yes, we know. We're all going to want an expansion, right? Let's say a whole nother map area, more missions, more story, and all of that. That's a lot to ask for. And it is definitely a possibility on what they could do. The open world aspect of the game is very important. And I think that that would be the best if they was to do that. Now, they would probably have announced that already, that they have a plan for an expansion. So I am going to try to help you not get too excited, even though this video is about getting hyped about the future, and tell you to slow down on that. And it's possible that they won't do another expansion. Even though we do have 3 areas, I don't think the expansion will necessarily be the best option for them going forward. All right. I just wanted to make that clear. And that's just my opinion. Because it's about time based. How much time do they have to actually go through the process and get that finish is the question, right? So it's a lot of hopes, and we gotta try to simmer that down. Now, here's an idea that I thought about that I thought could be interesting. As you can see, we have the testimony of the souls,
Where have you been?
and in here you can play the whole game. And I don't want to spoil anything. Let me go to chapter 1 here. So you can play the beginning of the game. You can play any part of the game. This is actually a very cool feature that's not even really put out there to the public, but it's such a cool feature. I can play any mission in this game. I'm just gonna run through one and then click on it, and then there's different storyline that branches off from it, which I absolutely love. Right? And you're gonna keep going down here. There's things you can replay a cutscene if you want to. Also, it's so awesome. On top of that, you get the chapters that you can switch out to, which is even more cooler because you can play every single chapter that's in the game, and this makes it very awesome. Now, one idea that I had was, okay, if you don't want to make an expansion because it costs too much and it'll take too long, give us a chapter. All right. I'm happy to play more of this game through these missions. And, they can add things to the open world that we have. And then just give us some missions through here, changing things, storyline, and all that good stuff. And a simple chapter 4. That would be incredible. In my opinion, that would be incredible if we don't get the expansion, which I think that would be what we all would want. Then there's, of course, the bond missions. You can add a DLC, just a storyline of, let's say, our actual Veiled Edge Twin Blade. All right, you do one with them specifically, and maybe it's an origin story. It can be anything, but the original story between them, I think, would be exciting and interesting. You can see here there's plenty of bond missions that you can select from all the different characters, and I don't want to go through every single character, but you have it at your disposal, guys. And I think that to me is such a cool feature, and I would love to see that as well. All right, as you can see here, the different areas, if they did make another expansion, it is all available to make something great in this game when it comes to using these features, these very features that are in here already, to provide for some awesome gameplay. That's just one method that I think can really work and would be very exciting to see. Again, I'm not here to pitch and pull or push you guys, but those are just some of the concepts that I absolutely love and that I think would be very exciting to see. Now, the question is, if you guys are into something like that, let me know. It's all preference, and you have better ideas, feel free to share them in the comments. Now, I got a couple of extra things for you guys. That's more for DLC and things like that we can do. And of course, I'm not putting all the extra details like, new enemies, new this, new that, but just giving you the ideas of how the content can come, whether it's an expansion of a new map or just the storylines within that setup. All right. And now what I want to do is take a moment and talk about what I personally want in the game. So these dojos right here are pretty cool. I love the challenges. I think they're exciting. But my idea for future content that can be very easy for them to do is create a PvP mode for the dojo. So imagine you go into this dojo like I'm doing here. You click on 1-on-1, 2-on-2, maybe 3-on-3, and or even a tournament style. As you can see right here, this specific section down below has 4 people. So you have to beat 4 or 5 players, and you'll get a better reward if you do win. And of course, you'll still get rewards, but you have to beat them. And this will be online. And there'll be a very cool system of getting rewards, grinding out cool rewards by playing PvP, right? And then they can change things, letting you have all of the elements, all of the weapons, all of your gear, and then also doing what they do have, which is using these practice weapons, limiting you to only some healing, and that's it. And so there could be different modes like that in the game. And one of the modes that I would want too is a hardcore mode where it's all about, you can basically only get hit a few times, 2 or 3 times, and you're eliminated for that round. And you go multiple rounds to see who can get that first hit in. Just some fun, different game modes within the PvP. This is my idea of what I think could be something that would be fun for me, and of course the hardcore players who are going to be playing that just for kicks, because this game's combat is incredible, and some PvP would definitely excite people like myself. These are just some ideas that I have when it comes to what the future could be for this game. And that right there would be specifically a quick and simple setup that they can do. Like, hey, we have co op already. Let's make the co op versus each other in this small space where they can actually go head to head. And there's restrictions and things like that that makes it for different kinds of modes. So those are my general breakdowns on what I think. Again, remember, take everything I'm saying today with a grain of salt. It's literally zero confirmation on what the game will offer when it comes to DLC or even a sequel. And I want to talk about the sequel last because, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about some of the ending of the game. And it's nothing major, but let's just say spoilers happening now. So here we go. So at the very end of the game, your Veiled Edge, if you play it a certain way, will survive and they'll be in New York City. And that is so interesting because that can be a DLC, but it also can be the sequel. So I'm not sure if they're going to be dropping another sequel, but I can tell you that if they wanted to make a sequel, they have that storyline. And of course, they got you, the main character, as well. So, what do you think? Is that something you're looking forward to? So for those that are watching and didn't want the story spoiled, sorry, but we had to spoil it just a little bit. Super interesting and fun thing. Hopefully, I didn't lose too many of you on those that are still watching. For the spoiler, cool, thanks. But that being said, I definitely feel like that would be spectacular to get a sequel, and it's there for the taking. So we'll see what their plan is. Again, I'll keep you updated in the comments on what project they're actually working on, and we'll see soon. You know, once I get that information, I'll share it with you guys. Very exciting times. It's really loving this game. Hope you guys are as well. Go ahead in the comments and tell me what you want to see with this game. Drop it below. And by the way, I got some guides and tips that should be opening up right now, popping up on your screen, telling you to go click. Make sure you stick with us because we got the combat guides. I got a beginner guide and then an advanced guide for combat. We have deep end game information plus beginner information. So go check that out. See you there. Peace.